Hi, everyone. Welcome to another Wise Tips. I'm here with Eduardo as normal. Eduardo, thank you so much for joining us as usual. And we're also here with Lindsay. Lindsay, thanks so much for hopping on.
Thank you for
Welcome.
having me. I'm excited.
Welcome.
Yeah.
It's good to have somebody new, fresh blood in the team. That's always good.
I was just telling someone the other day, I was like, I think the people are getting tired of staring at my face. So like we need
We must be at this point a little bit boring, Rachel.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think that's it. But
I doubt
this is
it.
an official welcome to our
Thank
team
you.
and specifically on support. Thank you so much for joining us. And I mean, as some of you watching may recognize her and have already seen her on a couple of our meetings on here. But
Yes.
it's been an absolute blast. You know, it's just been a couple weeks.
It really has. I've been a sponge as much as I can. Rachel is she's a phenomenal person to learn from, and she gives great instruction, and it's been really great. So I'm trying to soak up everything I can from Rachel the best I can. The Wise Option team has been very welcoming and very supportive. So
We are so happy to have you here, Lindsay.
yes.
And I like to give a few days before we do this type of introduction. First, because of course, some butterflies and you get settled, so many, so much information to absorb, just like
Yes.
you're saying. There's so much to
hmm
learn. Um, that would be my first question to you. How overwhelming has the process been for you?
I have a background with Wise Option, and I have a background with equine hospitals and in general. So it's not necessarily that was overwhelming, but just the level of support that you guys give and all of the steps that you take to ensure that needs are met and needs are followed up, and those mechanisms that you use has been, the I would say the overwhelming. It's just something to learn, and be able to make sure that I'm checking all those boxes and following those protocols that you give your customers. So and then exploring Wise Option on my own with all of the new features and new updates since my experience with Wise Option. That's honestly been the most fun part. Other than
That's
talking to the clients face to face and hearing their experiences, I've had fun exploring the demo version and really immersing myself in it, so that I can then today Rachel gave me a project, a question a user had, and I was so excited because I read it and I was like, I know how to fix that. I
that's so
know
good.
this
Okay,
ha- this issue happened to me the other day when I was playing with it. I know how to fix it. So
that's
yeah,
cool.
I'd
That's
have to
so
say
cool.
that.
Well,
hmm
tell us a little bit about your history, where you come from, what's your background, how everything
Yeah,
started. Where did you end up with the horse
sure.
industry?
Yes. So I'm originally from Colorado. I went to high school in a suburb of South Denver, and I loved horses. And like most girls who love horses, you know, I went up to Colorado State University and I started the equine science program there. And it was a wonderful experience, one of the best experiences. Also added on a second degree in agriculture business. Upon graduating, I was employed over at Vista Equine, Colorado, which is also over there in Fort Collins. Wonderful experience there for about 5 years over there. And then I moved over to Utah and followed a boyfriend who is now my husband over to Utah, and was then started my journey with another equine hospital over there at South Valley. I was there for 7 years as their breeding manager. Um, we then life happens, and we decided to start a family, and so I left the breeding business behind. And I call that my other life. And so I am just so excited to be able to see this side of the equine hospital division and be able to um, continue to be involved in that industry. So with my family.
All right, there you go. And we are
Yeah.
so happy because you are, like you said, you have the experience on the reproduction, but also the background and following large hospitals and how the
Yes.
pressure here for big places like that. So we are so excited and all that we
Yes.
can do, knowing the other side. I bet that Rachel has, but I'm jumping with my question. I'm so curious here. So one that I have is it's a little earlier, but I'd like to know what are you thinking by looking on the other side, because now you're helping users. What is the
Right.
difference when you are on this side of the fence?
And you're stealing all of my questions, Eduardo. So like, a little bit.
I'd have to say, like, there's things that I'm learning with the shadowing and my own experience with Wise Option, that problems that I had as a breeding manager, as a technician, as, on my day-to-day work, that Wise Option is going to help solve. I'm so excited to tell you, oh my gosh, you're going to save so much time by doing this. I know what that means, to be having to input something multiple times manually. Like I'm excited to bring that aspect. Oh my gosh, you have no idea how much this is going to save you, and in your organization, especially, on the breeding side of it. I mean, organization and detail is absolutely crucial. And so utilizing these things in Wise Option that help save those details from falling through the cracks, I'm excited to bring to users because I have experienced all of those problems.
That's absolutely true. But before I jump on one with more questions, I will give some room for
Okay.
Well, it's definitely not a secret. I can definitely relate to your chain of events on some of those too. I too followed a boy as well. And hey, you know what, knock on wood, it worked out. So like, doing good on that end. But, and like you said, it'd been a little bit since you had touched Wise Option from, your days there out of Colorado to now. And, one of the things you touched on was that, how much things have changed. And, one of the things you're really enjoying is going through the demo and seeing like all the new features and things like that. So if you had to, just a couple highlights of things that you're like, oh man, like, wow, like it does that, or like, something that was just something really different that you didn't expect. It can be one thing from beforehand.
Sure. I think I told you about it the other day. When allowing owners to be able to kind of see their horse's history, what, when they've been bred, when they ovulated, when they were flushed, what their results were, what stallion they were bred to, and be able to just kind of do a quick update and click on those buttons to be able to see that, I think is amazing, because that's one of the biggest things is communication with your clients, whether it's an equine hospital or a breeding, communication and giving updates on your patients is super key. And I just was so excited to be able to see that, and people can reference it. I don't remember, what day was that flush, what, things like that, where they can just quickly go on and get some updates on the horse that they are, a horse that's in at the clinic. That was one thing that really stood out to me as well. And I mean, the incorporation of the vitrification, I think, is really super cool as well. The ART summary. I mean, that's all. It's just something that, was just super new when I first started, and now it is a rolling industry. And to be able to grab all of that info quickly and organized is really great. That's really, really great. An important detail along with those details we were talking about. So.
And that first one you touched on, some users might not even know about that yet, because that just came out. I mean, that was a new feature, like, I don't know, 2 weeks ago, and that was the board. Yes. So if anyone's watching this, just real quick, side note on that, it is something you have to enable on the customer account. So please don't panic and think that all your customers are going to see all of the repro records. You have to enable it on a per customer basis. So side note that, back to this conversation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, really cool option. Yeah.
Well, how would you say that was the most interesting part of the equine industry that you have seen since you joined the team that you didn't know about?
Um, I have been in, Colorado, Wyoming, Utah. That is my horse experience, and having a small glimpse of the Kentucky and New York racehorse industry is a whole different thing, and it is so cool to see and to have a small involvement with. I would have to say that, and oh my gosh, being able to talk to somebody in New Zealand, is incredible. And we're sharing the same goals, and having the same fight. I think is really, really pretty cool. But I'd have to say the sort of the small glimpse into the thoroughbred racing industry is
Yeah.
really cool. Yes. Hmm.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. To me, it's interesting to see because it's one. Initially, people think it's just horses, but when you see all the different segments, all the different
So
facets,
many different.
you can find. And one thing that always blew my mind was when I saw two horses, same color but different names, just because of the
Yes.
the category they were playing with. And so it's still a learning process for me every time I touch something.
Yeah, it's really neat, and just regionally, you know, uh, working in different just regions is different, so it's very neat.
Yeah. Well, one thing that I will say is this. Like you guys can see, today I'm on the setup here in our mobile office in the Remuda, me and Penelope. We are visiting clients, we are visiting prospects. Today we are in California, but that's what brings me the peace of mind. One of the obsessions that we have in Wise Option is exactly with the customer satisfaction. And having you join the team is, for me personally, to me, one of the assurance that our people are taken care of. One of the reasons that we brought Lindsay to the team was exactly because, as far as I can stand, my policy is that I'm going to fight for our users to have a personal relationship with the account manager.
Hmm.
So every time you finish a phone call, next time we will know where we stopped. So there's
Hmm.
no explanation all over again. A person that identifies there's the relationship with you, feels your pain. Um, Usually, these two girls here, I will tell you, everybody out there, they fight for you because they give me a hard time, okay, with codes and features and glitches. And come on, when do I have a new version out? They're pressuring me. So they do fight for you. I'll let you know that. But it's for me personally, an assurance that we are going the right track. The company is growing and we are with an amazing reputation. As a matter of fact, one of my concerns is not to grow too fast so we don't lose this touch, this personal touch. And I take it we are not perfect, but we are doing our best to provide the best care, the best service. We are so humbled every day for the trust our users give to us. You know, we know that how the pressure is, especially for large hospitals. Every day, the front desks, breeding season for
Yes.
reproduction centers, racetracks with all the regulations, mobile vet with disconnections and having to, being remote areas, blank spots. So each one with their particular needs. We need to be very sensitive to those needs
Hmm.
and to provoke to them that at least warm feeling that we are on their side, that we are just not here trying to push a solution, but we are really cheerleaders of their success. So I thank you guys very, very much for the hard work you put here to the company and to our users. Lindsay, you are, we are delighted to have you
Yeah,
with us and
it's been
to
great
bring
to
the
be here.
breath of fresh air.
Try.
Um,
Yeah.
we're going to have tears because sometimes there's pressures,
Yes.
but that's how we do, and we love what we do. And just seeing your passion in this beginning have made me, all the energy that you have put learning and participating. And,
Thank you.
now I know that you have a kiddo, and
Yes.
juggling balls and being mom, a wife,
Yeah.
any anxious users. That's not an easy task. So I take my hat off
you.
for you.
Mhm.
So thank you so much for choosing Wise Option.
Thank you. Like I said, I'm excited to be part of the team. So.
All
well,
right.
with that, thank you all so much for joining us. And of course, thank you, Lindsay, so much for taking some time
Yes.
here. I'm sure you all will see her very shortly here again, and more on these. We might drag her out more often, because I think I like this little change of pace here. I think this is my face
Okay.
gets smaller. This is good on this screen. But thank you all so much for joining. We hope you have a great rest of your day. And of course, we'll talk to you soon.
See you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.